do, 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 do. Don't go and repeat the song, 'cause I don't need to hear that shit. Alright, so hey folks, everybody, give me a second while I get the camera turned on here. Drawing, da-da-da, let me move my Cintiq out the way. Grab the camera so I can make certain I know people are actually seeing this. And there we go. How y'all doing? Who wants to draw some commissions? I do. Gotta wrap up the lines today. Wrap up the lines, maybe be able to do some Copic development on this. We'll see. See how that goes. Yeah. Alright, everybody. So, this is the commission so far for the Spectre. Feel free to comment in the chat board, leave comments below. I will answer. Otherwise, I'm going to get to work. Hmm. Where is my... Where's my pencil, man? Good times, Rob. Good times. I can find every pencil I need but the one I need to draw. Let's take a look around the room, shall we? Found it. A little stuffy in my room today. Went from freezing to stuffy. Great. My head getting in the way. Hey, what's up, butterfly? Hey, Jessica, what's up? It's a commission of the Spectre. So I do the roughy lines on the computer, then I print it out and do all the final art here. Thank you so much. I'm a little out of, a little rusty on drawing right now with this paper. I'm just got done doing a bunch of digital art, so I'm like, oh yeah, how to use these pens again. It's been, it's been a little bit. Yeah, it's, you know, by the time I'm done with this, I'll be like, oh, I'm all good, you know. I also switched my paper. I'm still inking with my normal paper I use, B marker paper, but I'm drawing on this mixed media paper, which I actually prefer because pen drags a little bit, which I like, but I am not completely used to it, even still. But it's all good. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I actually prefer when I'm inking not to have smooth paper. I like some tooth to it. Yeah, when I do the Copics, and I'll be doing a version of this in Copic. I use B marker paper, which is smoother. Nice. Where did I put? Here we go. Yeah, like like normally this is basically what it comes out looking like. I got a grip of these lying around. Spidey. Sure. Yeah. So it'll be like that. You draw it on one side and you flip it over. Where is that? Alright. Sorry. Do, 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 do. Ah, thank you. Very nice. Yeah, but I started getting this mixed media paper for when I do the watercolors, and I like the way it worked. So, like drawing on it too. So I'm like, oh, this is easier. The smoother paper when I'm using the inks, just I don't know, it's almost too, it glides a little too much. I like a little drag. Similar to when like I'm sketching, I don't like to just go boom, there's the line, you know. No, no, it's okay. I'm pretty easygoing. You can chat all you want. It's no big deal. Yeah, I normally draw with red mechanical pencil lead, but uh, doesn't go too well with the watercolors, which I normally draw separately anyhow. But I want to be doing some more watercolor commissions at cons and stuff, so I'm just trying to get used to working back with my regular 2H while I'm sketching. So. Yeah, actually, started with the watercolors about 2011. Yeah, Richard, this paper right here is Kanzen mixed media. It's toothier. Um, when I do Copic or uh, when I do Copics, I use a B marker paper. But this is Kanzen. It's pretty heavy too. It's nice thick stock. Um, it's the same stuff that I use the watercolors on, right? So it holds. Kanzen mixed media. It's pretty cheap. So I get the pads. Like this is an 11 by 14. I have to trim 3 inches off to make it 11 by 17. But I usually use that in 11 by 14 pads. I feel like when people get commissions, they should be able to like, you know, hold it. Feel like they got some weight. The video stopped. Still live. Is it Bristol? Yeah, it's actually a little. I'd say it's closer to 2-ply in terms of the weight. The GSM, it's 160 grams, so it's 98 pound. What I like more than the Bristol though is that you still get the watercolor kind of like texture. Bristol add that weird graininess to it. I don't like it as much. So if I use the watercolors, it you know really holds up. You know, and it's just cheaper. Yeah, surprisingly so. Like these days, if people think it might be used for comics or manga or whatever they want to call it, they'll just up the price, right? Yeah, I guess I prefer doing the Copics on the smoother paper, But when I'm drawing here, I like a little bit of the tooth. just working a Z pattern, you know, left to right, or right to left if you want it to read like an actual manga. Start with that. Sometimes it's best just to, like when you're starting out, just to sketch all your ideas on like post-its, something that's completely square, almost like storyboards, and then only enlarge based on like you could take those ideas because they're all worked out from a story. I'll go this, I'll go this. I have 4 panels, and then you can enlarge things that need more emphasis and make something smaller, you know, and limit yourself to no more than 4 or 5 panels tops on a page. If I had to give any advice, I've done a lot of pages and made a lot of mistakes early on in my career in terms of overdoing it. That's why I said like if you already have a script worked out, you're just drawing something, sketch it all like on individual little post-its or something that so you're just working out what should be drawn. And then you can maneuver, you know, the order like this, like this, like this, and then whatever panel is like the most important, whatever is the focus for that page, you know, gets bigger. And if nothing's a focus, then just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine, you know. Like I find if it's going to be an establishing shot, like a city, okay, so you sketch on the little post-it city, but you know, probably you're going to want a nice widescreen, so you can put that there and then you just elaborate out, you know. Let me actually go to draw it. And I literally don't draw the characters. I make them stick figures or whatever at that point, you know? Like, so at that point, you're just really working on like story. I'll be honest, if you ever work from an actual comic book script, half the times the writers just put down big panel, you know, small panel. So you'll know, you know? This way, yeah, no problem. Yeah, you can convert it based on emphasis, you know, and whatnot. The worst thing you could do is start to try and just create all crazy panels and put things in it, you know? It's pre-sketched out on my computer, then I print it out in a light blue. Not the whole drawing, like a real rough, just like even the background is just like scribbles, and then I'll use it as like a silhouette and build into. So the only thing that I really kind of try to work out before I do this stage is the face and then the basic shape of the body. But all the extra details that go on them, bandages, whatever, I do here on the board as I draw it. You know, so I'm not drawing things twice or doing any more than I need to. And I hate lightboarding. so I can maintain the sketch as much as possible. Yeah, so all that stuff's worked out, and I like to make sure the hands are worked out too. You know, hands and face are most important for me. The face being the most important, but yeah, all the base proportion. You know, like skulls can just be a blot. It'll be whatever. You know, I'll make that up as I get here. If you were to have tons of ammos and like cable guns, they would just be silhouettes, and I would just work it all out here on the page. But I don't like doing the grid and the tons of lines, and shit just confuses me. You know. This is supposed to be Spectre, the Spectre. It's a DC character. It's like my own version, but it's a commission. He's basically a big white naked dude in a green cape. You're like, gee, how can I add anything to that? Yeah, like when I'm first starting out, I like to just kind of work on faces. So I did these pre-sketches, you know, trying out different looks and little watercolor sketch. I like that real rail thin. He's supposed to be undead, so I wanted that kind of like rail thin waist, but I mean I've proportioned it a little bit better, so not so, you know. Oh, give him the mohawk. Well, these commissions aren't cheap. I can't just do whatever, you know. Like I was thinking, you know, I do want to do some weird takes on characters, so sometime this year I'm going to do a commission only kind of like Kickstarter or whatever, where you know I'll probably have some cheap slots, and that's just going to be like to do some wild takes on characters, you know. That I probably wouldn't normally do when people are spending some $300 plus, you know. And I'll label it. These are going to be crazy interpretations, you know. So you know, but that would be fun, you know. Something like that. He'll just be cream, white, creamish, and green. The only thing I'm going to do with Copic is him and his face here. Um, and then the entire background and him will get painted digitally. Like I'll do all the lighting digitally. So the background will get a digital paint, and then I base it over the Copics. To kind of give you an idea what that looks like. I'll send a link. I'll show you. Just as soon as the browser wants to work. Let's see if it'll actually send this time. Pop-out chat errors out if I leave it open too long. Oh, this is so annoying. Okay. So like that link there, that's me. Is the that's 2099 Spider-Man with the digital background and some additional lighting on him to make it all fit. So on this, it's going to be all these skulls with candlelight, so it'll be really moody. Yeah, so that's this Spidey here. Yeah. Yeah, because the backgrounds, the lighting is just far more, it's far better at Copic. Like I've tried doing backgrounds, and the only backgrounds I like doing, maybe like watercolor and stuff, but even then. So, yeah. So the commission, what they do is they get, check this out. So they get, you know, the pencils and inks, traditional, Copics, color, traditional, and then a print of the digital. I usually print it on really super awesome metallic inks and shit. Plus all the making videos and everything else, because I stream the shit out of everything. One thing I can say about this paper that I gotta get used to. I gotta go. I'm used to using the really thin multiliners. Because the toothiness I can actually go up a notch. So like I'm used to using 0.03. This is a 0.05. So it drags and it doesn't. It's cool because you don't have to use as much ink. But I do think I need a point 0.1. Oh, believe me, I'd have 1,000 people talking. It'd drive me. Plus, there's a delay, right? So there'd be a delay in the chat of it. Yeah. It's hard enough when I do the podcast. Sometimes they got the radio on in the background. I'm like, could you turn it off, dude? Couldn't imagine total strangers. Plus if they play music, I get DMCA's and stuff. Like if any, I had a song going on in my other headsets. I'll wear a second headset in my ear, and it barely picked up once on the stream, just barely, and I got DMCA'd whole video. It's ridiculous. I'm afraid to hum songs. Yeah. Plus, I've spent the last since 2008, I've spent a lot of time making certain I don't get carpal tunnel. But I used to, 'cause I used to like hold the pencil. Like when I did everything in pencil, I used to grip my pencil too tight. When I started learning how to draw digitally with the Cintiq, I learned to ease up a bit. But when I get back to pencils, I like to make certain that I'm not using too much pressure. So being able to just draw with these multi-liners the way I would normally helps. Yeah, I do use the pen, the dipping and all that stuff. I just don't want to use it on commissions right now. Um, that's how I do the. It's actually well, that's not entirely true. I don't want to use it on something that's this tight in illustration. But like this is all done using, you know, dipping and drawing. Um, so I'm gonna try to move away from Copic multiliners ultimately and just go to using Quill. But one piece at a time, right? Yeah, the point threes and stuff are great for like outlining, but I definitely need to pick up a point one just so because some of this like hands and stuff they don't need to be so tightly figured out, you know. I mean, inking isn't so much tracing it, it's also implying form and shape. So sometimes you can just sort of put like a little squiggle and it's like, oh, that looks like that thing. Oh yeah, brush pens. And I'm more of a mechanical guy though. When it comes to drawing, I can't seem to shake that. I've tried. I love the look when people get it down, like those creature box dudes and stuff, man. They get all that shit down pretty good. I just found I'm a bit more of a technical drawer. Drawer. I'm a drawer. I hold socks. I tried the water brush. I just use a normal brush. But I think it's all preference, right? It's like whatever seems to click with you, you know? Do, 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 do. Plus, with commissions, on a separate note, I try not to get too crazy with the poses on commissions. I figure if you bought a character, you want the character. Like, I want the character. You know? That's why I started doing some of these sequential panels, because I was like, well, what if I just put the character and maybe make some panels? So there's sometimes you get so crazy where you put a big leg coming at you, like the big Kirby fist, which looks cool, right? Like in a comic book page, it's like, boom! But, could you imagine, like, right here, like, let's see if I can line it up. Like, that would be your 350 bucks, Like he's just punching you, you know? You'd be like, I don't know if Rob tried that time. Take a snap. Take a pic. I mean, it's hella dynamic. It's just, I always feel like, oh man, I'm ripping them off. Let me post this. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's cool for a book or maybe like a con, like a Comic Con thing where you only have so much time anyway. I'll tell you what, someone was asking me if I have any New Year's resolutions this year. My New Year's resolution is to never reply to people's posts on Facebook about any movie or anything. I just don't like it. I'll save it for the podcast. I just can't deal with people. I don't like it. I don't like type in. I don't like, you know, everything sucks, right? Once it comes out, everything sucks. Doesn't matter how much you enjoyed it, someone else hates it, and they all seem to glom together. Hey, I like this movie. It sucked. Yeah, it sucked too. All these suck. Everything sucks. That's it. It's the last time I ever engage in a conversation on Facebook. Like my buddy, he's a game developer. He's cool, right? So last night, he's over in the UK. He posts, "Hey, anyone out there? What were your favorite arcade brawlers?" I'm like, "Dude, The Simpsons Arcade." He's like, "I never liked that game. It sucks." I'm like, "No, dude. I didn't know I was supposed to guess your favorite arcade brawler." you know, like fuck. That's what I get. Lesson learned. And I respect the dude. I just sat there looking at it like, what? Is this a fucking joke? Like, you know, this isn't, you know, 4chan here. This is like, a guy I kind of respect. I'm like, well, all right, you're right. It sucks. What do I know? Like Netflix was talking about redoing the rating system based on whether you enjoyed something or didn't, you know? And I have to say, I agree with that, I'm tired of like percentages and 80%. Did you enjoy it? I don't care if Because they were saying like even if it's a bad movie, people will enjoy it, but they'll give it a bad rating because they know it wasn't a good movie, you know. But they enjoyed it, but it wasn't a good movie, so they don't want to be like likened with liking things that aren't considered good. You know, like I know, take it since Evo, you're talking about, you know, video games. You know, when Pilot Wings like 64 came out, I loved it. My friends hated that game. They're like, oh, it just there's jazz and it's there's nothing to do. It's boring. You know, fast forward 30 years later, people are like, that game was awesome. And you're like, wow, go look at the reviews, man. Like 70%, you know, 65%, some 80s, you know, lot of no love. Over time, though, people go, man, that was actually pretty good. So, but I'll never do that. Someone says, you know, name some cool. If I say, hey, give me some good movies that you enjoy, you know, and you name off a movie that I totally don't get, I'll be like, why did you like that movie? I'm curious, you know. Oh, okay. Like I always ask Brandon to justify why he likes something. It can't just be because you liked it. I mean, I guess it can, just if you want to have an actual discourse, you know. Yeah, I don't know about awful. I think we're really spoiled, you know. That's what I think. Because you want awful? Summer of 1993, the only thing we got was like The Shadow, you know. Sit through that. Take your 20 bucks you saved up for a month, go down there and watch the movie, buy a popcorn, and just be disgusted by how lazy that film is. But there's so much good content, you know, everyone's super critical. Like, I haven't seen Jurassic World, but I've seen the reviews, and it's, oh, good setup, the landing sucks, you know, unplausible. I'm like, that sounds exactly like the reviews when the first Jurassic Park came out when I was in junior high. Or no, high school. When Jurassic Park came out in high school, everyone said, great idea, not as good as the book, acting's corny, it's got a bunch of ridiculous scenes, and the ending sucks. No, 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 no. But you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. You know, it's like that's the exact same review. Like, but everyone says the first movie's so great, right? Because they look back. You know, like it's the funniest thing. I'll always say this, man. The one thing the Force Awakens brought back, and that you know a lot of movies don't do, man, is you know you can kill off characters. Anybody, stormtroopers can die, not just a bunch of robots. You know, that's my problem. Like with the superhero films, is there's no threat of death. You know, they can't even kill off Coulson. Like, he just comes back. Everyone comes back. People got to be able to get blown up. Well, you're getting this one's sticking around for a long time. That I can guarantee. Since Marvel's involved with it, and I've worked on a grip of that merchandise, so Civil War was the last. I did T-shirts for 10 years, so I just got out of it. It's like I get why hardcore Star Trek fans don't like the new Star Trek movies, but as what I would not consider myself to be a hardcore Star Trek fan, I can't stand Enterprise or Nemesis or Resurrection. Remember that one? Or Insurrection, whatever the fucking name that movie was. Uh, where Captain Picard's driving the Jeep from Halo, you know? I'm like, well, I mean, remember that time Picard ran around in a giant Halo vehicle? And they were all on a pirate ship? That was fun. That was very philosophical. Like, I think Star Trek just works better as a TV show. That's always been my opinion. I love Deep Space Nine. You know, and I love a lot of the Next Generation. Not much, a bit of it. You know, Star Trek fans are the toughest. All right, let's start sketching. I feel bad. I mean, it's like if you're say you're a hardcore Star Trek fan, you come out of even Into Darkness, you're like, you know what? You know, there's some corny parts here and there, but overall, that was a fun movie. You cannot express that opinion on the internet. Oh, the motion picture when Bones had the giant fro beard and the gold medallion. Remember that one? Hey man, I love me some Deep Space Nine, dude. You know, but I'm not blind. Like I can't stand Voyager. You know, I just believe it was horribly cast. Like the original casting was supposed to be Sarah Connor, right? You know, and then they got the chick from Remo Williams. but I get, people like her. No, she's not horrible. Like horrible is, I mean, bad TV. There's bad TV. Like I'm trying to think. Was it a really horrible space show? I don't know. I mean, remember Tech War? Remember that? That was pretty bad. I just sort of feel like, you know, the geek culture and concerning movies and stuff, it's becoming very much like Fox News. You know, like, it's becoming very politicized. You can't have any discussion without being, you don't like what I like, you shouldn't exist. Like, oh, okay, all right, you know. But I mean, I guess what's new, right? When I was a kid, I was going to the comic book shop, and Wolverine would not do that. Wolverine would, that shit. I'm like, tell the writer. You know what I mean? I have to check. I have to question why I even know you. Like, well, there you go. You like Man of Steel? You suck. Like, all right, you know. Movie's too serious. Well, I like Flash too. This shit's corny. Well, okay, so what do you want? You too serious, not corny. I want it just right. I want everything. I don't know. It's hilarious. I probably messed that up a little bit. I'll have to fix that. Mm, I'll ignore that and fix it later. Everything's fixable. Man, there's nothing realistic about anything on TV ever. You know? That's why it's called TV or a movie. I've never understood, as long as it adheres to the rules of the universe and it's believable, it's good enough. Well, in real life that would never happen. I'm like, shit, man, in real life, well, go watch kung fu movies. No one guy is not taking out 800 fucking dudes. Go watch Jackie Chan. There ain't nothing realistic. It took 1,000 times for him to do that one thing. They took 1,000 takes to get that down. There's nothing realistic about opera too. People aren't gonna sit around singing all fucking day. Remember that thing called opera where they just sing in Italian for like an hour? Yeah, totally not realistic. I'd love to see it, but if I want a realistic experience, I'll go to the post office. That shit gets real. You know. It's funny, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say that there are things in Making a Murderer, which is a documentary, when you watch and you're like, there's no way you could get away with that in a movie. People would say that totally is not realistic, you know? And then yet there it is. Hey, what happens if aliens really do invade and we manage to fend it off by uploading a virus through a MacBook? Like, what if that actually happens? And then we all have to look back and go, God damn it, My post office sucks. Post office to the DMV. See? Now you get it, Kyle. Yeah, they probably like broke user end agreement, the EULA, and then they sue them. Or the MPAA sends a. I definitely got to get a point one working on this paper. Let's kind of speed this up a little bit. Kyle, there was something I wanted to run by you, and now I can't remember what it is. For real, like earlier today, I was like, I gotta hit Kyle up about that, and now I can't remember. Yeah, I know. I just figured you'd show up on the stream probably, so I'd wait and see. But I was like, damn it. Yeah, now I wish I had just texted you. Like, I cannot remember the hell I was gonna. No, that's not working. It's getting to that point. I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy some new markers. It's getting there. I have some. I have some. Where did I put them? I just bought some new ones a month ago, and I always buy a few extra. But I can never remember where I put the bag that the spares are in. That's a growing problem. Hmm. They're here somewhere. Where did I put them? Probably said some shit right on top. My supplies organization is taking a bit of a downturn. I've had to rearrange my workspace a few times here in the last few months. Well, that ain't good. You know what? Let's try something else. Fuck it. Let's give it a shot. Where'd I put this? Copics, so it'll get scanned in. Put that there. Where's my... Come on. Spoon. Spoon man. Where's... There it is. Let's try this. There we go. I'll just do that. Stop dragging. I do need a piece of scratch paper before I... I know where to grab it. It trimmed off 3 inches. So I'll just grab that. Gimme. Alright. Yeah, there we go. See if we can get these arcs in one sweep, right? Oh no. See, I'm not replying this. I suck. Do do do. They're not gonna sucker me in. Unfollow.